Hi, I am Patricia. Welcome back to our channel. Today, my guest is Roberto Eisenmann, whose family founded Coronado, one of the main beach communities in Panama. Roberto, welcome.
Patricia, thank you so much for having me here.
It's a real pleasure to have you here.
Likewise, likewise.
Tell me a little bit about the history of Coronado.
Well, my grandfather, Bob Eisenmann, founded Coronado in 1941. There was absolutely nothing in the beaches as we know it today. He set out, actually, he bought Coronado's land from his father and Carlos Eleta, who had bought thousands of hectares, as they did at those times. And Coronado was actually part of the Finca La Yeguada, which was the first finca inscribed in the Registry Public in Panama. He set out then from 1941 to construct a sort of a weekend retreat for well-to-do people in the beaches. And that's how it all started.
Wow. How far is Coronado from Panama City?
Okay, it should be a little less than an hour, but because of the construction of several things along the highway, it takes us about an hour and 20 minutes nowadays.
Hopefully hour and a half.
Yes, hopefully when they finish, it will be back 45, 50 minutes driving time at ease.
Okay. What is inside the gated community of Coronado?
Okay, Coronado, basically, if we talk about amenities, we have, first of all, a golf course, which is not just a golf course, it's a fascio design professional golf course. And this was built in 1972, so it's a 50-year mature professional 18-hole golf course. Yeah. And that's right in the midst of Coronado. That's actually sort of the jewel of the crown, if you will, of the amenities inside Coronado, aside from restaurants.
And you have different types of projects in Coronado?
We actually, there are different projects that have been developed in Coronado, not only by us, but by other investors. Right now, if we talk about new projects, actually there's only one. And I can tell you all about it.
Okay, I know you told me that during the pandemic, you have a brilliant idea.
Thank you.
That today is very close to be a reality.
Thank you. I'm waiting to meet COVID so that I hug him and kiss him and everything else. Because actually during COVID, in December 20, I actually dreamt of Terra Viva, which is a project that we're developing right now.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful project. Tell me about your inspiration with Terra Viva. What is Terra Viva? Okay,
Terra Viva basically stems from something that came up in my mind in the midst of COVID, which was basically the fact that we, as human beings, do not need too much space to live on. So I started thinking that we should have homes European size, okay? Europeans, Asians, even if you go to New York, North American people will show us how to live in lesser spaces, okay?
That's true.
So that was one of the things that brought to my mind, and we were in the midst of COVID, so we didn't have the means actually, and this is worldwide, to continue investing in very large properties. The second thing was basically the realization that even though you were in a very plush community and with all the amenities that you could have, actually we all long to go back to nature and delve into natural area full of trees and hopefully some animals, etc. It became very apparent to me that we should go and develop a place where you lived together with the environment.
It's a beautiful concept.
Thank you. So one of the things actually that etched this project up was the fact that we lived in Santa Maria, and I realized that in Santa Maria there was a prohibition to plant fruit trees. And that just spurs up completely the project in and of itself, and I set out to then plant sort of a central park, if you will, in Terra Viva, with each and every species of fruit trees available in Panama. Right now, that central park, which is 4,000 square meters only, 10 by 400, is planted with about 280 fruit trees, basically about 58 species and 85 varieties of fruits.
Wow.
They say that fruit trees are the restaurant for birds. So you can imagine we're going to have there all kinds of birds and an ecosystem developing in that speck of a land place.
Spectacular. How advanced are the houses in Terra Viva?
Okay, we just finished building the model homes. You know, we have the main model home, 3 bedrooms, and a guest home, which I think is like the crown of the jewel of the crown, if you will, and 1 bedroom, sort of a studio for either a guest or your hobby or your business or whatever you want to have there. The rest of the homes, and by the way, we have no units.
Okay.
You know, we don't speak about units because to me units have nothing inside.
Okay.
They're concrete walls. So we speak actually in terms of homes. And the whole language about Terra Viva is basically that, okay? Humanizing the way we live and dignifying it, if you will, also. And I'll tell you all about the infrastructure of Terra Viva when you allow me to. Okay. That's another part.
What do you think a normal day in a life of a resident of Terra Viva will be like?
Well, first of all, you will have the possibility of just being in Terra Viva, in Central Park, and just relaxing and connecting yourself, first of all, to yourself.
Exactly. It's the most important.
And also the environment, you know, as we are going to see a small forest, if you will, grow in our eyes, okay? Second of all, then you can go out to the beach. We have a beautiful beach in Coronado.
That is my question. How far is Terra Viva from the beach?
If you go by car, it might take you 7 minutes or something like that. And
Perfect.
Actually, every owner of Terra Viva is automatically a member of the golf club and the beach club.
Wow.
So the beauty of this is that all the amenities, if you will be in the golf course and the beach club, and thus our country clubhouse, if you will, are the trees.
Oh.
So in Terra Viva, everything is natural, and it's that sense of wanting to just breathe in the forest that you have.
What
we will have a
else
pond,
you can ask?
okay, not only to hydrate the birds and have turtles and fish and this and that. We'll have an open amphitheater to have concerts be made, but the way we many years ago used to call concerts by, you know, violins, piano, saxophone, guitars, etc. A Zen park, etc., and also a place to plant different type of plants and species, you know.
Definitely, Terra Viva is a place to reconnect with yourself.
Entirely.
Yeah.
Entirely. So, aside from that, you may play golf, you may play tennis, you can go in the different pools we have at the golf club, beach club.
And to have a delicious dinner in the restaurant.
In the segundo piso, which is a 5-star restaurant, really. It's amazing.
It. My husband and I, we love it.
Yes.
It was a delicious dinner ever.
And by the way, in Coronado, little has been said about this, but we have a dry forest private reserve, 53 hectares of land. And the dry forest in Panama is a different type of forest because the rain precipitation is a lot less than in a humid forest, but it's part of the ecosystems.
Okay.
And this was discovered years ago, and we set out to just make it private and not have it developed at all. So we're working on having tours and this and that, and you know, that's another natural activity that you can really enjoy yourself with.
Okay. Going back to Coronado, why do you think Coronado is one of the preferred areas to live for many expats?
Well, I have to tell you, and with much humbleness, that Coronado became the center of the whole Pacific shore, if you will, not because we say so, but because that's the way it was. There was absolutely nothing developed before Coronado in the beaches. Then came El Valle, which is a totally different environment, and with Coronado being pioneers of many things, amongst which are the old condominiums in Coronado, thanks to whom or thanks to which, the law of property, of horizontal property, condominium property, became such because of those condominiums.
Okay.
So we've always been sort of ahead of our times, being called nuts a little bit,
Yes.
but always looking to be different. Okay.
Exactly. And also inside Coronado, there is a lot of amenities, but around the area, there is a lot too.
You have
everything.
You have different restaurants in Coronado, small boutique-ish type restaurants, very good, by the way. And also around Coronado, as a nucleus overall, you will have several supermarkets, pharmacies, gas stations, stores, hardware stores, etc. So
movie theaters.
yes. So actually, even the people that live even up there in Buenaventura usually come to Coronado to buy things, etc.
Yes.
And as far as the expat community, if you will, there is very much rich community inside Coronado and in the areas. We haven't really made a census of them. I would feel fine in telling you that maybe there's 250, 300 families of expats from the US, Canada, Europe, etc.
Interesting.
There's a little bit of everything in Coronado for everybody. I really believe that.
It is. Roberto, thank you so much for
It's a
your
pleasure.
visit today.
It is a pleasure.
Remember, if you have more questions about Terra Viva or Coronado, please let us know in the comments and we will be answering you as soon as possible. Remember to subscribe to our channel and don't miss our next episode.